So welcome to the third installment of the videos and things that I enjoyed over the past week. This week I'll be sharing 5 links with you. The first one is an article that I had just posted up on the Hyperion Herbs blog, Top 3 Tonic Herbs for Better Workouts and Exercise Performance. It's a pretty good article, and if you're interested in such things, I highly recommend checking it out. It's the first link below. And then also checking out the Hyperion blog, because I have a lot of good information and good articles there that is also not on my channel. The second video is 2 years alone in the wilderness. And it's basically a kind of a time-lapse journey watching this guy build a log cabin pretty much by himself. It's pretty fascinating. It's pretty interesting to watch. I don't know, it somehow just came up in my feed the other day and I started watching all these types of videos, and it's a whole genre. It's a whole thing of these types of people doing off the grid type living, and it's sort of really fascinating, really interesting. I'm not really quite sure that I would be really totally down with that, but I definitely could see the benefits and the appeal of it. The third video is an interview that was just posted with Kobe Bryant with Patrick Bet-David, and it's about an hour long, and it's a pretty interesting interview. He gets into some mindset stuff and gets some more sort of backstory and behind the scenes type information from him, which is quite interesting. And even if you're not really interested in sports, which I'm not really anymore, I was as a kid, but I got over it, or I stopped being interested in sports probably as a teen. But now it's interesting to me to go back and watch interviews with these people and see there's a lot more depth there. And then in the case of Kobe Bryant, he was great at basketball, but then also has gone on to, I think he won an Academy Award, something like that for, he won an Oscar for some animated thing that he had done. And he has a successful production company and is like successful in this whole other new chapter of his life, which is quite interesting. And for me, I like interviews of people that are operating at a high level within their field, just to try to understand who they are as a person and more of the backstory. The fourth thing on the list is a New York City apartment tour. It's a $16 million luxury apartment. And then the fifth thing is from the same channel, but it's a $56 million Bel Air mansion. So over the last few weeks, I've enjoyed watching these kind of luxury apartment tours and mansion tours, both from agents trying to sell it and then from people who are living in the house, kind of like a cribs style type thing. And it's fascinating to me just to get an understanding to a certain degree as far as what's really going on in that world, because obviously I don't I'm not balling out in like $20 million apartments. So it's interesting because oftentimes, it's interesting to me because I try to understand the value proposition of these things. Like obviously New York City is its whole thing. Bel Air is a whole different thing. But try to understand the value proposition, because there's obviously, if we're talking about a mega mansion, that's a different thing than a certain apartment. And then also understanding, would I even want to live there? Does this thing even feel like a home? Does it feel just like anywhere you would actually want to live or be? Granted, of course, there's the difference between seeing it and the difference between actually being in the space. But still, a lot of these very mega mansion-y type places or luxury apartments, I would not want to live in. I don't know if I would even want to Airbnb in it, because it's like it doesn't really feel like a home. And then at a certain point, they all kind of start to feel the same and look the same and feel a bit homogenous. It's just like, I don't know. But then occasionally there are some that do stand out where you're like, whoa, that actually makes sense. That actually resonates. That's actually somewhere where I could live, or at least want to spend some time. Because it's like, for me, I think about what I actually do on a regular basis in my home, what I might want to do in my home, and then look at these places and be like, could I even do that or want to do that? And oftentimes it's like, I don't really even understand how these places are visible. Granted, I understand that many of these places are just staged. They're not actually people living there, although many of them are actually people's homes. So it's a whole other different thing that it's just interesting for me to understand and look at and observe, because obviously it's not necessarily the reality that I'm living in. I'm not living in a $56 million mega mansion. But anyways, that's the 5 things for this week. Somewhat interesting to me, somewhat random, especially considering all the 3 videos in this series, which I'll be doing again on a weekly basis. I think in many ways it's probably not what people would expect, judged or basing and judging this just solely on the content that I've put out on my channel over the last few years. But what can I tell you? But anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. I filmed it at like 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday, hence why I'm still waking up, because these are the first words that I've spoken today. But anyways, it's a nice day out, so hopefully you watch this video, check out the videos. Be sure to check out HyperionHerbs.com, check out the blog and stuff that I had posted, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.